Hello friends, Liuba is here with you. Today we are making modern sliced pastries with a warm, cozy flavor. Rooibos Apricot Timut. I had been nurturing this idea for a long time and finally brought it to life. It turned out not only delicious but also unusual with character. Do not be afraid to step away from the familiar. New combinations can be a pleasant surprise. In the video, as always, there is a detailed breakdown of each stage so that everything works out for you the first time. Let us get baking. We will start the preparation with a very delicious sponge cake. The quantity of all the ingredients will be listed, as always, in the description below the video. Let us start with the dry ingredients. I combine the wheat flour, which was mixed beforehand with baking powder, with the almond flour and cinnamon, and mix thoroughly so that everything is distributed evenly. Now we take the butter. It should not be cold but softened like this to a fondant consistency. Thoroughly whip it together with the sugar until it lightens in color. The butter should become fluffy and creamy. Now we add the eggs. I have lightly beaten them beforehand with a fork to combine the whites and yolks. It is important that the eggs be at room temperature, so the mixture will remain uniform and will not separate. We incorporate them in 2 additions, stirring thoroughly each time. As soon as the first portion is combined, we add the second. As a result, we obtain a smooth, creamy mixture. Without stopping the whipping, we pour in the milk in a thin stream. It too should be at room temperature. We continue to whip until the ingredients come together into a uniform mixture. At the end, we add the dry ingredients and carefully fold them in with a spatula only until they are moistened. There is no need to stir for a long time. As soon as the batter becomes uniform, thick and creamy, at this stage it is ready. Spread the batter evenly over the parchment and place it in the oven, preheated to 170 degrees, for approximately 15 to 17 minutes. The finished sponge cake should be lightly browned, and a skewer should come out dry. While hot, the sponge cake is fragile, therefore it should be removed carefully. Cool it completely on a rack, then chill it in the refrigerator. Before slicing, you can briefly place it in the freezer to firm up for convenience. When the sponge cake has stabilized, we carefully trim it, cutting away the edges and the top crust. Look at the texture. The sponge cake is delicate yet dense and very tasty. We cut the sponge cake to the size of the frame, and together with the frame we place it in the freezer. Let us prepare an apricot confit. We will need apricot puree. Mango puree works just as well and can be substituted if desired. Next, orange puree or juice. I am using blood orange puree. Sugar mixed with cornstarch, lemon juice, and 2 portions of gelatin that have been pre-soaked in cold water. In a saucepan, we combine the apricot and orange purees. Gradually sprinkle in the sugar mixed with cornstarch, whisking to prevent lumps. We place the saucepan on the stove, bring the mixture to a boil, and cook for 1.5 to 2 minutes, by which time it will thicken and acquire a rich color. We remove the puree from the heat and immediately add the bloomed gelatin, mixing thoroughly until it has completely dissolved. Then we add the lemon juice and mix well once more so that the mixture becomes uniform. We immediately weigh out a portion of the hot mixture for the gel, add the second portion of gelatin to it, and stir thoroughly until uniform. We cover it with plastic wrap pressed directly onto the surface and place it in the refrigerator until it stabilizes. We pour the main portion of the confit onto the frozen sponge cake in the frame, spreading it evenly over the surface. We allow it to cool slightly at room temperature, then place it in the freezer until it is completely set. Let us prepare a Rooibos Timut mousse. We will need a mixture of milk and cream for steeping, cream for whipping, white chocolate, bloomed gelatin, and the main flavor and aroma accents, Rooibos tea and Timut pepper. Rooibos is a South African caffeine-free herbal tea with a mild, slightly sweet flavor and light notes of honey and wood. In a dessert, it adds depth and a warm, enveloping aroma. It is important to use high-quality tea. Timut pepper is a false pepper. It is not hot. It is an aromatic spice with a vivid citrus fragrance reminiscent of grapefruit. It lends freshness to the dessert and heightens the fruit notes. Paired with Rooibos, it reveals itself even more vividly, adding warmth and spicy depth. Before use, Timut pepper should be lightly crushed, not into powder, so that its stunning aroma can unfold more fully. We start with the cream. It must be well chilled and have a fat content of no less than 33%. I further chill the bowl and the whisk. This way the cold is retained longer and the cream whips better. We whip to the half-whipped stage. The mixture becomes airy, increases noticeably in volume, yet remains fluid like slightly melted ice cream, and does not form peaks. The trail left by the whisk holds for a couple of seconds and then disappears. This is how the cream should turn out. We place it in the refrigerator until use. We move on to aromatizing. We heat the mixture of cream and milk until steam appears without bringing it to a boil. We remove it from the stove, add the Rooibos and the crushed Timut pepper, stir well, and cover it with plastic wrap. We allow it to steep for 30 to 40 minutes so that the aroma and flavor can develop to the fullest. The steeping time can be adjusted depending on the desired intensity. During the steeping time, the Rooibos imparts a beautiful hue to the mixture. We strain the infusion through a sieve, pressing the tea thoroughly. I strain it several times and weigh the resulting liquid, and if necessary, restore the volume to the initial amount by adding a little cream. If tiny tea particles remain in the mixture, it is nothing to worry about. Now we heat the aromatic cream mixture together with the bloomed gelatin until it has fully dissolved to approximately 60 degrees. At the same time, we melt the white chocolate. It is convenient to do this directly in the glass, in which we will later emulsify the mixture with the blender. We pour the hot aromatic mixture with gelatin over the melted chocolate and combine everything with the blender until smooth. A smooth aromatic mass of a pleasant color will result. Before combining with the cream, it needs to cool to approximately 30 degrees. When the mixture has cooled, we take out the cream and give it a gentle stir for an even consistency. Then, while continuing to stir carefully, we gradually introduce the chocolate cream mixture. We stir until we obtain a homogeneous, delicate, and aromatic mousse. We pour the mousse onto the frozen Confit layer, spreading it evenly over the entire surface, and place it in the freezer until it is completely set. In the meantime, we will prepare the base for the whipped ganache. For the ganache, we will need white chocolate, 2 portions of cream with a fat content of 33%, pre-soaked gelatin, as well as Rooibos and Timut pepper. We infuse 1 portion of the cream, as in the mousse, with the tea and pepper, allow it to steep, then strain it. We heat it with the gelatin until it has dissolved and pour it over the melted chocolate. Using an immersion blender, we combine everything into an emulsion, after which we add the cold second portion of cream and blend once more until homogeneous. We pour the ganache into a shallow container in a thin layer, cover it with plastic wrap pressed directly against the surface, and place it in the refrigerator to stabilize for 8 to 12 hours. After it has frozen completely, we carefully remove the preparation from the mold. I run a gas torch along the frame. You can also use a heat gun, and it releases easily. Look at how even and crisp the layers are. I score the surface and cut the pastries. This yields 7 neat, even pieces. We place them in the refrigerator to defrost, and in the meantime we will begin preparing the gel and the whipped ganache. The gel has completely stabilized and has become very firm. We blend it with an immersion blender until homogeneous, and we obtain a thick, viscous mass. Now we add water little by little and continue pureeing until the texture becomes delicate, smooth, and slightly airy. We transfer it to a pastry bag and leave it at room temperature. There is no need to refrigerate it. We now move on to the ganache. It has stabilized in the refrigerator overnight while the pastries were freezing. We whip it to a delicate, airy texture, to the soft peak stage. It is important not to over-whip. The ganache should be homogeneous, hold its shape, yet remain soft and pliable with no signs of separation. This is what we obtain. We transfer the ganache to a pastry bag fitted with a round tip and move on to the most enjoyable part, decorating. We pipe 6 domes in a row, striving to maintain even size and spacing. In every other dome, we make small indentations with a hot, dry spoon. Into each one, we carefully pipe apricot gel. It adds a bright accent and makes the presentation even more expressive. The pastries have turned out modern, with beautiful, even layers and a concise, elegant presentation. But the most important thing here is the flavor, and this is not about contrasts. This is a story about warm, comforting combinations, about mellow, spicy Rooibos, the freshness of apricot, and the citrus piquancy of Timut. I had been nurturing this idea for a long time, and finally I was able to bring it to life. I am sharing with you not just a recipe, but a small part of my creative journey. Do not be afraid to try something new. This is where the most interesting discoveries are born. Friends, Liuba here with you. Thank you all for watching. See you in new videos. Bye-bye.